Now you got to take a little bit of a look now back at that Montana game. What kind of stood out to you once you were able to kind of review it?
Well, we're in get better mode. This is November. A lot of things coming out of the gate that you're not maybe prepared for, you're not good enough at. And every team we've ever had has got those now. We opened in a tough spot and against a good team, and we didn't get it done. And so our guys understand that it's all about how much we can improve from here on out and how much we can learn from that. And like I said, it's about getting better.
You did kind of say a little bit before the game, day or two before the game, that there was, that you're going to have to, work through some things a little bit and figure out some things with this team. Tough to do that when you still want to win the games, but you still in the back of your mind have to,
No, these guys, the preseason was tough in the fact that we had so many missed days and so many missed practices that you throw Mikey in there. He did a good job, but he's not up to speed yet in how he's going to play the rest of the year. And we don't have our rotations figured out. It was almost just like we were plugging the dam. We're plugging it partly because of foul trouble, but we just don't have a good. We're just not clicking yet, and we're gonna. And these guys understand that we're gonna get better, and that's the most important thing. There's a lot of teams that can't get better. There's a lot of teams that won't get better, but we will.
Is that what you'd say maybe to fans who are like, how did this team lose the game? As you say, team's not clicking yet. That there's, you know that this team's gonna be better.
I'd just say, there's a lot of factors, and like I said, it's November 13th. It's not a devastating, where you lose a home game and it's a RPI hit. I mean, this is going to be a top 100 team, top 125 team, possibly an NCAA tournament team that we played on the road. Would have been a terrific feather in our cap, and it was a close game, and it came down to one or two possessions, and we didn't do what we needed to do in one or two possessions.
And defensively down the stretch, I know it wasn't the best. What did Montana do, or maybe that you guys need to improve on? Because it seems like I think they made 8 of their last 9 shots out there.
Yeah. They got to give them some credit. When you look at the film, those guys made some tough shots, and a couple in the red zone where we contested it pretty well, and it was a 25-footer, and they stepped up and made them. And like I said, in a game like that where it's going to be 1 or 2 possessions, 1 or 2 mistakes can hurt you. So we just got to get a lot better defensively, and every team in the country has to do that, and every team in the country is trying to adjust to the way it's being called and how it's going to be called, and that's an area where we can improve on.
You're going to face another Big Sky team with Northern. You just talk about them, and what are you seeing out of them so far?
Well, they're a good basketball team. They were a really good team last year, and they won some big road games, and they present a lot of problems. And this is going to be another tough game for us. And if we don't make a jump from where we were Friday night, then we're in big trouble.
What about opening up at home finally?
Yeah, it's good to be back, and we love playing at Taco Bell Arena with the new lights and the new scoreboard and all this stuff. And we'll be anxious to get in front of Bronco Nation again. And that's the beauty of basketball is you play one and it doesn't go the way you want to. You got another one coming right away, and we got maybe the toughest November we've had. So we don't have a lot of time to sit around and feel sorry for ourselves. We're not going to do that. We're going to get better. We're going to come out swinging.
I'm sure it might not soften the blow a bit when you look around the country. You see Wisconsin, Georgetown, UCLA all lose at home. I don't know if that softens it, or what are your thoughts as a coach? You kind of see that the landscape. It's pretty crazy start to the season already.
Well, it is, and there's a lot of parity in college basketball. And that's what makes it great. And again, but we scheduled really aggressively. I mean, there's none of those teams went to Montana. We were the only ones that did that. Whether it's a good decision, bad decision, I don't know. But it makes you get better when you have to play tough games. And those straight home and homes, those are some of the toughest things to do in college basketball. And if you look through the landscape, there weren't many road teams that won. I mean, I think you named about all of them, really. So, again, we are in get better mode, and that's the most important thing right now.
During the offseason, Drew Emmerich was still nursing his legs to get back in shape, and he nailed 23, if I'm not mistaken. Dave will probably correct me if I'm wrong, but talk about what his effort was up in Montana.
Well, he's still got a lot of rust to him. He's still not 100% back to himself yet. He goes out and gets 23 points, and he had a few turnovers that he'd like back, and so he's shaking those things off, and he fits right along with where the team is, and the fact that he's just going to continue to improve.
I know you don't want to lose, but like you just said, this team is probably going to possibly have a tournament bid, should win the conference. Does that, can you,
Well,
can you take anything away from that to go forward this season?
oh yeah, we just we have good guys that want to get better and want to play together and the loss, you don't want to take a loss, but sometimes it wakes you up on some things you have to do, and there has to be an air of urgency to us, and I think we have that.
You seemed obviously confident that Anthony could step in like he did, and you said there was a little bit of rust, but also some of it just looked like Anthony of past. He hit 3 straight threes there at one point, stuff like that.
Yeah.
How much of a positive step was it just to see him do what he did? And I know you're confident he would eventually be able to do it, but to see it just in the game.
Yeah, I have to say I was like, there was 0% of me that was surprised with that, and I even expect more from him, and that's why Anthony's so great, because I know all the things he can do, and to me he's about 75-80% right now, so I'm pretty excited to see what 100% is going to look like.
Chandler obviously struggled a bit, against in that game. I know maybe fouls were a part of it. What was it that when you kind of look back?
He's just got to shake it off and play with confidence, and he's got a lot of talent and a lot of treasures inside of him that we need to get out, and you saw those in the preseason. He was playing better than anybody, and you saw that in our scrimmage, how good he's been playing. So he just has to play with confidence, and he'll get that, and he'll get to the right place. It was one game. I mean, you look back on our Montana game last year, and Derek Marks had 5 points, and 2 of them at the very end. Ended up being Mountain West Player of the Year. So long journey. Guys got to keep improving, and they're working hard. They're good guys, and they want to do the right things. And we got to figure out as coaches what our rotation is, and that's hard to do when you haven't had guys at practice.